Hi, Becca C. Smith here, and today I'm going to show you how to lay out your book in InDesign. Now this is the interior, and this is actually without images. So if you plan on putting images in your chapter headings or throughout your book, I will be doing another tutorial in a later video showing you how to do that, but this one is just for text. And also I'll be linking below a PDF on my website that gives you the step-by-step instructions that I'm going to be showing you how to do. So if you want to follow along with a text document while you're looking at the video, you can do that. Enjoy! Okay, let's get started. The first thing that I do is I organize. So I have two files that I make. One is for the InDesign files because you are going to be making separate files for each chapter. So that is currently empty right now. But also I have mine here on the desktop, but you want to put your InDesign file folder where it's going to be permanently on your computer, because the thing about InDesign is it's one of those programs that you always have to relink it if you move the file anywhere. So it's just easier to have it one place, then you never have to relink anything. And then the other thing I want you to do is I want you to divide your manuscript up into each chapter has its own Word document. And the reason why we do this, I'll show you in detail later, but the reason why we do this is because with InDesign, if you just copy and paste the text into the file, it will lose all its formatting like italics and bold and stuff. Also, the reason why we do separate files is because when you export it for your digital copy, your EPUB, you want the chapters to be divided, and this is the easiest way to do that. You don't want to just take your entire manuscript and slap it into one file. It'll make your life a nightmare. So that's why we're doing that. So let's start. Open InDesign. So we're going to create the first file for chapter 1, but first we want to make a preset so that we never have to do this again, because especially if you're doing sequels, or your book is a series, you want all your books to be identical. So we're going to go to Create New, and it's in picas, but it will translate to inches if you type in inches. Then you can go to KDP or Ingram Spark to get different sizes. I do 5.5 by 8.5, but you can do whatever you want. But this is where you type it in. The width is 5.5 inches. And see how it puts it into picas? By 8.5 inches. Picas. And you want to make sure your pages are on 1, start page on 1, facing pages checked, primary text frame checked. Gutter, I do mine at 3/4 of an inch. They recommend at least 1/2 inch. I like mine a little wider, but it's up to you. And then here, sometimes this chain is chained, so we unchain that because otherwise, if you change one, it'll change them all. And I like my inside margin to be different from the others. Now, top margin, they recommend at least 0.25. I feel like that is way too little space. I do 0.5 inches, but I also don't put a title or my author name on top of my pages. So if you are going to do that, I suggest doing 3/4 of an inch. And I will show you how to do that even though I don't do it for my own. But for me, I'm doing 1/2 inch. Bottom, 1/2 inch. Inside is the same as the gutter, 0.75 inches. And outside is 0.5 inches. And we're not going to do bleed and slugs because we are not dealing with images, we're just doing text. So we're going to save this preset. We're going to save it to test preset. Save preset, but obviously change it to the name of your book. Okay, and here it is, test preset, create. Okay, first thing we want to make sure is up here in the right corner. Sometimes it's on essentials, but we want it to be on book. And that's so we have access to our master pages. That's where you're going to put your page numbers and, like I said, the title or author name. And then you want to make sure that your paragraph styles is in here. So if it's not here, you go to the type tab and just click on it and it'll show up. Drag it over here and then you have it nice. These are very easily to drag, so just drag it into here. We are going to do chapter 1. Actually, before we do that, let's save this. Save. We're going to save it in our InDesign files, and we're going to call it chapter 1. Save. Now we are going to drag chapter 1 into the text box. Boom, that's it. Just drag it in and there it is. Now I will show you why I do it this way. If we were just going to open chapter 1 and copy and paste, so Command A to select all, Command C to copy, then we're just going to paste it in here, Command V. See how it lost all its formatting? Nothing's italic, nothing has indentations, it's all gone. And a lot of people like this for probably smaller documents, because then you can sort of have true formatting. So if you wanted this to be italicized, you can go up here and it's actually true italics if you do it this way. But since we're doing an entire manuscript and we don't have the time to go through every single time we ever did an italics and go through it and find it and then italicize it, we are just going to drag chapter 1 in. Okay, now this is the beginning of the chapter, so we do not want it to be that high, obviously, the text. So we're going to go to the selection tool. You're going to click on this box that's turning red and blue. Click. And then we're going to drag it down. And do you see how it turns pink right there? That means you're exactly halfway down. That's where I usually like it. Okay, so now you can see this text is not what we want. We don't want this much space in between the lines. We don't want the indentation that far. So this is where we get to create the style that you want for your book. And that's done in paragraph styles. And once you have this saved, then you never have to make it again, and you can just click on your text and it will change to this format that you're making right now. So normal, you want to right click on it and you're going to hit edit normal. We're going to name it. So we're going to say tutorial text. We're going to go to basic character formats. I like Adobe Garamond Pro. Font size regular, size 12, leading, that's the space in between the lines. I like mine at 18, but play with this, see what you like. And the rest I keep as is because I like the way that looks. And then we're going to do indents and spacing. So the first line indent, I like mine to be 0.3 inches. But again, this is entirely up to you. Play around with it to something that you like. We're going to go to left justify, that's the standard. Now, hyphenation, I don't like it. Now this won't get rid of the hyphens that you put in manually, like if you need it in there as a word. Everything that if you've typed in a hyphen, it will stay. These are the hyphens where, because of the spacing, they want everything to be perfectly spaced out, which does arguably look better, but I just don't like hyphens. I just don't like them. But that is up to you. Now, what's nice about this is that you can have fewer hyphens. So if you're like me, you don't really like them, but you don't really want to get rid of them because you like the way that it's spaced out, you can do fewer hyphens. Or if you could give a crap about hyphens and you just like the way you want it to look really pretty and spacing to be perfect, you can do better spacing. I don't like them, so I unclick it completely. But again, that is entirely up to you. And we're going to hit OK. Now we will need to change the text. So we double click in it, we hit Apple A or Command A to select the text, and then all we do is click on our tutorial text. Boom. And there it is. It's so pretty. Next is chapter headings. Now again, I will be doing a separate tutorial for adding images to chapter headings, but right now we are just doing text. You click on the T because we're going to be doing text, and you're basically going to drag a box all the way across from inside margin to outside margin. And then you're going to pick what font you want, what size you want. Let's try 36. Chapter 1. That looks good, but I want it to be on the right. So you hit up here, you can do, or maybe you want it in the middle, if you want it on the left, whichever one you want. I like mine on the right. And anytime you want to move the text bar, you hit the selection tool, you can move it, and see how you see the the pink line down the middle that tells you it's dead center. Chapter 1, you can move this up a little too if you want to make it here. But if you want like a subtext, like let's say it's one of those kinds of books that has a character like mine where it switches points of view, you can do another text bar, and then you can go to your here. I think I'm going to have it at like 24. Let's say, and I don't, Chelson. Now I can either choose to have it like this, or I can have it in the middle. Whatever you want. You can choose to do whatever you want. And you can make these as big as you want, whatever. And I know some books, like they actually have the first line all in caps. And you go down to change case, uppercase. I don't really like doing that. But I know a lot of the traditionally published books do that as a style. I'm not really that into it, but it's up to you. Again, your book, you get to decide whatever you want to do and whatever looks good to you. Okay, so that's it. I actually like this to the side, so I'm going to put this to the right. If you have dates, like, because in my books I always have dates, just say a little homage to Adventures of Baron Munchausen. It was a Wednesday. Okay, so you have that. So next, we are going to do page numbering. Now this is where we deal with master pages. So we go up to Pages, Master, you double click on it, and this is going to look very familiar. You're going to hit the T, and you're going to drag it across. And then you're going to go to the Type tab, Insert Special Character, Markers, and Current Page Number. Now obviously you don't want it way over there, so again you go up to here. I put mine in the middle. Okay, so we're going to copy, Command C, and paste, Command V, and put that right there. And see how it lines up green? That means it's exactly not lined up, lined up, not lined up, lined up. Okay, now this is where I was talking about. It would have been nicer to have 3/4 of an inch if you did want to put your title or your author name up here on every single page. So that is up to you. This is a 1/2 inch, but you see if you do this, put that in the middle, and then draw another one. The selection tool, line it up exactly. Okay, so now you've got page numbers and your title and your author name. So in order to get back to your manuscript file, you just double click over here on the right. And you see how Becca C. Smith will always be on the right and Atlas Rising will always be on the left. We've got the page numbering. Now don't worry, each chapter is going to start with page 1, but when you put it into the book file, it will automatically correct your numbers. So don't worry about that. But I do not like having the page number on the front page. So if you want to get rid of that, you make sure that you're clicked on the page that you want to be on, and you go to the Layout tab, Pages, Apply to Master Pages, and then None. So basically you're saying, I don't want that number on there. And see, it disappears. It looks so much better. But it doesn't get rid of the number. It's just invisible. See, it's still page 2. Because we changed the text, you are going to have extra pages at the end. Look at this. Oh my God, look at all these blank pages. So you want to delete those. Page 24 through 30. So you go up to Layout, Pages, Delete Pages, 24 through 30, a delete. All right, so we're done with chapter 1. Now, this is the easiest way to do it. Because we saved all our presets, you can just start a new file if you want. Basically, if you start a new file, you're going to have to import your tutorial text. So the easiest way to do it is just to do Save As, InDesign Files, Chapter 2. So now it's a whole new document. And what's nice about that is that everything is placed exactly the way you want it. So all you have to do is do chapter 2, and then let's say now chapter 2 is a different character. And it's now Thursday. Get rid of the text. Apple A, delete. Go over to our folder here, go to chapter 2 and drag it in. Now we also double click, Command A, and hit tutorial text. Boom, and it's all done. Now again, let's go to the bottom, see if there's any extra pages. There is extra pages, so 27 through 36. So layout, delete pages, 27 through 36. A delete. The easiest way to make sure that you didn't get rid of too many pages, it'll tell you right here. Right now it says no errors. This will be red and it'll say error. So do that with every chapter until you are done with all your chapters. So once you have all your chapters done, then I do my title, copyright, dedication, that's the opening of the book, and then the back of the book, which is, you know, your bio and your other books by. Those I just do a new document. We're going to use our our test preset, create. Okay, so let's do the title page first. So we drag the T across. Let's just call it Ryther. And then you pick your font, let's say 48. Put it in the middle here. Okay, and then just to make things easier, I Command C, Command V, put it down here, double click, Command A, Becca C. Smith. Too big, too big. Bring it down to 30. That looks better. Okay, so that's a good title page. Next page I want to be my copyright, so I need to add a page because there's only one page here. So you go to Layout, Pages. You can either insert or add a page. I do insert because it's more specific. So one page after. So now, see, we have our title page. Now we have this page. So I already do all of my copyright stuff in the Word document, so this you do copy and paste because you don't need it to be formatted like your paragraph style. So we hit T, and then I like mine to be centered, and then you go up to your selection tool, make it more of a box, so now we can move it around. I like it more in the middle, and see, look at see now that perfect X, that's how we know it's exactly in the middle. And then if you want a dedication page, you add another page, insert page, after page, okay. And then the text box should already be in there, so just hit dedicated to everyone, ... Hit the selection tool, because again, you want to move it wherever you want it. Let's move it there. I'll make it in the middle. Dedicated to everyone. If you want to have like other books by, you go to Pages, insert page, after. I think I have my other books by. Yeah, I've got my other books by. Copy and paste. Double click, copy and paste. It lost its formatting, so I would, this is where you can be like, okay, I'm going to do bold, and I'm going to do this sentence in the middle, and then I'm going to only bold all of the series titles, so bold. And this is where it's all up to you. Like, I mean, it's just taste, whatever you want. Save that, and we're going to call this copyright. Now, the reason why I'm using like simple names is because these are the names that in your digital version, your EPUB, that they're going to use to categorize it when you open up an EPUB. So when you want people to open up your book, you want everything to be like chapter 1, chapter 2, copyright, bio, so they can easily click to it. So that's why I'm naming them very generic, simple names. So save. Now we want to do a new document, which is for our bio at the end of the book. So we go to our saved presets, test preset, create, and then find your bio, copy and paste. Okay, I want this to be a little bit bigger, and I want it to be in the middle, and I want it to be in bold. But I am going to move it, so let's click on the text box, make it more manageable, move it to the exact center. So let's wait for that. There we go. There's our bullseye. There we go. And then we save. Bio, save. Okay, so now we have all our components and we want to put it all into one book, assuming this book was only 2 chapters. So we go to File, New, Book. And you're going to name your book. So let's just say Riser. And we're going to keep that in InDesign Files too. Okay, and now you get this little square. So now you're basically going to drag your InDesign files in the order that you want them to print. So let's get to our folder, sorry, InDesign Files. Click back on there, and we're going to want our copyright to go first. Now don't worry, we're going to change this. We don't want it to be pages 1 through 4. We want chapter 1 to be pages 1 through whatever. So then drag chapter 1, chapter 2, and bio. Okay, so let's change our pages, shall we? So we double click on chapter 1 because that's where we want it to start. And we go start page numbering at page 1. See how it does everything in order for you? Okay. So we don't want this to still say 1 through 4. You can, because who cares, but I don't like it just for confusion's sake. So I just changed the style to like little eyes. And there you go. So now we export. So once you're done, make sure you're not clicked on anything specific, because if you export and you're on copyright, it'll only export your copyright page. So you go to this little quadruple line thing and you export to PDF. This is going to be our print copy. So riser print. I suggest you number them because you'll probably be changing them. Let's do it to our desktop. Save, and all these presets are great. And high quality print. Export. I'll give you a sneak peek. Okay, we've got our title page, got our copyright page, we've got our dedication page, got our other books by, and then chapter 1. Yay! That's print. We know print is good to go. And now we're going to go back. We're going to export it as an EPUB. So you hit the same square in the right corner, export to EPUB. You want it to be reflowable, and the reason why you want it to be reflowable is what's nice about EPUBs is that something like the other books by, like this, I can actually put links into these so that when people are reading them on their Kindle or whatever they're using to read the book, they can click on the link and go directly to my book. So if they like the book they're reading, they can click on another book. So we're going to go Riser Digital 1. We'll go that to the desktop. Save. And all these settings are great too. So you just hit OK. And Adobe has what's called Adobe Digital Editions. And that's how you can view your EPUB. But before we do that, I already know, I'll show you. If you go to the copyright page, it all smooshes it. See how it's all smooshed into one, the title page, everything. That's what happens when you export it as an EPUB. So the way to fix that is you can get a free program called Sigil, S-I-G-I-L, and you drag it onto Sigil. So you go to copyright, and then they have what's called a split at cursor, and you hit that button, and it splits it. And then I want to split it at cursor here. And then I want to split it at the cursor here. So now these are all 4 different pages. So I'll show you how that will look on the EPUB. You save this, and now we're going to drag it back on to Adobe Digital Editions, and you'll see that now it is separated. And that is it. You officially have both your EPUB version and your print version for your interior text. I hope this helps, and like I said, I will be doing another tutorial for placing images, but if you're like me and you just like simple text, then you're good to go. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.